Hey, this is Bobby at Copal TV Repair, and today I have a not so common situation for us, at least. Maybe others have seen it more commonly. So there was this order on eBay, and I'm going to show you, along with all the personal information in terms of the name of the customer, Gary Meek. Please forgive me about that. That came with this note. Please give me your address so I know where to ship my YSUS board with part number blah blah blah. I'm purchasing a board which in this auction is stated that it's functional. He's sending it, so if necessary, so that we can test it, and if necessary, repair it and return it to daughter. Now, the board came today, and it came with this note. It came straight from the seller. Please read this first. There has been an extremely high rate of returns on TV boards that are fully functional, but the customer misdiagnosed the issue with their TV. In many cases, it may be hard to diagnose, blah, 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 blah. The guy's right. I know what he's trying to say. I sell on eBay. He says it even twice. Misdiagnosed the issue. It's uncommon, blah, blah, blah. So the guy wants to cover his back. He's trying to be nice and polite about it, but of course there's no way for him to know who is going to be using the board, how are they going to be using the board. He doesn't even know whether the board works or not. And here's the reason I make this video and why that is a problem. Now, there is no apparent shortages on that board, which is a good thing. The number of things, or rather the type of shortages that one is used to see in this is not present. However, I am not sure that I'm not comfortable in that board, and this is why. So I'm going to be zooming in. So I'm going to zoom in here, and you can see that crack around that solder, right? That is a problem, and there is a number of solder joints like that. To go through all of them could be a little difficult. Here's another one. There was a big one from a capacitor somewhere. Let me go without. Yeah, those two on the. There were two here. Let me use fingers. Yeah, so there are two of them. Maybe I focused on those before. Well, one of them apparently does not carry anything. This one too, right in the middle. There was a pretty big one that I may have started with, that one. That's from a resistor on the other side. Yeah, I think I started with that one. And then there are more around here. And some of them might not be currently active when you put the board in. But some of them might be good enough, and others might be very close to good enough to actually making a problem. There is another one here. You can see the little circle there. Now you can't see still through it. It hasn't eaten enough, but that's going to happen very soon. So here's the problem. Is that board functional or no? Should I stick it in a TV, and if it works, should I classify it as functional or not? That's even not all of it. Those two, usually on the Z boards, those solder joints, they look good here. But that's not all, as I was trying to say, because that board is old and it has whatever number of hours on it. And we know from experience, because we've done quite a few of those, that given enough time, some MOSFETs will start busting. Now, whether it's because the heat transferred on the back dried out and it's no longer serving its purpose, whether it is, whatever the reason, even if those solder joints are all reworked, this is an old and used board. Should it be reconditioned? That is up to the customer to decide. Is it a working board when it has those cracks that are, if not instantly going to be problematic, then in the very near future going to be problematic. And how is the customer going to handle a situation in which they buy the board from one source, it goes through another, so who's going to carry the responsibility here? Because if we have to go and rework everything. And then again, the one who sold that board is working, for all they might have known that it is ready to fail. So I'm going to be sending this video to both other parties and see what they think. I personally would not feel quite comfortable going and testing that board with the solder joints as they are. That's the reason why you do check a board before you stick it in, to see problems before they arise. And the fact that I don't see exactly the edge being bad enough to create an arc that exactly at the time when we're going to be testing it, it's going to be sparking enough to kill that MOSFET. It doesn't mean that we should just go ahead and do it. I would go and reflow, but once I start reflowing those, well, that should violate, if I was the seller of the board, me making changes to the board kind of violates their terms. If you have something that you believe is not good, then you should return it, and then again, it's not my call, it's the customer's call. But then again, the customer, our customer, says, please test these boards, and if necessary, repair it. So probably that's what we will end up doing. But we will only know once we start. And it may turn out that it has an issue that I don't see here on the bench, and it may only show later on. And then, of course, we'll have been again different situations. So once again, this video is mostly both for the customer and for the seller of the board. They can draw some conclusions from there, and we will see what are we going to do. Thanks for watching.